All right, let's get started. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. We got a lot of Quadrant 4 people, so we will be in breakout rooms at one point. So just know that your friends that you'll be talking to might be a little sleepy. And give everybody some leeway, except for maybe me, Susan, and Ryan, who have admitted to being in Quadrant 1. And also Valerie has energy. So we at least have energy, but everybody's feeling positive. So let's get started with our meetup 2 in this innovations cohort. Joey, I know you like to start with the tech tip, so I'll let you.
Welcome everyone. We're really glad you're here. Our focus for tonight is just to kind of brainstorm together. So if you've gotten started with your task, great. If you've done nothing at all for the course so far, that's entirely okay too. Tonight is very much a brainstorming, and let's get some ideas out there as a group. So we're excited to get into the session. As usual, we start with a tech tip. I know some of you on the call probably know this one already. It's a quick shortcut for creating Google Drive files. So Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms. Sometimes I'm in a meeting and I just want to jot down some quick notes, and there's a few different ways to create a Google Doc. This is my preferred one, which is just to type docs.new into the URL bar as if you're going to the website docs.new. That will automatically create a new Google Doc. Like I said, it works with Google Forms, Google Sheets, maybe even pop over to a tab right now, Control T, Command T to open up a new tab, and try typing docs.new into your browser just to see if it works and give that a shot. Hopefully it's a way to help save a bit of time and streamline the process for creating a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or Google Slides file. So docs.new, slides.new, sheets.new, and so forth. Curious to hear in chat if anybody's seen this before. Have you used this before? Do you find it helpful? So hopefully it's a useful tech tip to save a bit of time.
Thanks, Joey. Joey shared this with me like a number of years ago. It's changed my life. I love this one. I don't know if you guys new to Ryan. Okay, wow, I'm surprised. I feel like we've talked to Ryan a lot, so I'm surprised we haven't shared this with you yet. Yeah, great one. Sheets.new. And all you teachers, if you're making Google Slides, slides.new. Boom, just a blank slide right away, real quick. Thank you, Joey. Well, we have quite a bit to talk about today, and we want to make sure there's lots of time for you to talk to each other. So just a reminder, this course is all about digital literacy for your students, and specifically integrating digital skills into any of your classes, no matter what you're teaching. So just a reminder, that's what we are here for. So welcome. Just like last time in Meetup 1, whether you were here or not, we're going to start by just getting some quick ideas out there, okay? Just a little brainstorm. We're all going to look at a little tidbit of a sample activity, short activity that you could do within a big lesson plan. We're going to get some brainstorming ideas out about ways to integrate digital skills. Okay, very quick, just to start us off. Okay, we're going to do this in chat. Think about how you might add digital practice to an ELA activity. Okay, so those of you who teach ELA or maybe even ESL, this could be related. I'm going to give you a minute to read this activity description.
Sure.
Personal time to think about that. And then also take a tiny bit of personal time to think about how are you going to add digital practice. Add your ideas to the chat as you think of them. This is just a quick brainstorm activity. Remember to testify to the digital skills you know are most important for students to practice. So things that you really want students to know that they're not quite the best at yet, testify to those and try to think of a way to integrate the skills that you feel are most important. Take a minute, personal time, and add your ideas to the chat. Thank you, Rebecca, being the first brave person to add to the chat. It's really coming in now. Hopefully I'm not going to interrupt anybody's personal thinking by reading these aloud. Fillable PDF. Nice. Okay. Oh, and multiple ideas in one, Rebecca. Thank you. Using a QR code to share a link to what you want the students to go into, like the fillable PDF. Cool. Padlet. Great. Quick, easy, virtual word wall. Thank you, Katie. Joey's talking about Google Docs. Wonderful. You're collaborating and editing together as a group. Okay, great. And Valerie's also thinking about Padlet. Another software. Valerie's mentioning two software, Padlet and Nearpod. Okay, both of these are just ways for students to be together on the internet typing a short summary, right? So great ideas, great first ideas, quick ideas. I'll give it a second in case anybody else wants to add something to the chat, something I think of after students have read a short article, rewriting a summary. How could we integrate something digital into this practice? Great ideas to start us off. If anybody's still thinking, please feel free to keep adding to the chat. This was just a very quick brainstorm so that you could see things that your cohort mates here are thinking about. Just very quick ideas, just top of your head first ideas. Anything goes here. And oh yeah, Joy's added one. Students could practice recording a video. Okay, and that could be with the ideas that we've already mentioned. Padlet, another tool. We are definitely gonna look at other options for something, for an activity like this, and for your own activities. Maybe you're like, I would rather think about my own activity. We'll get time to do that here today in this hour. Thank you for thinking through this first brainstorming activity. And Rebecca, yeah, flip. Joey, you've inspired Rebecca to say, I don't know if anybody's heard of that software, Flip. Flip is another good software. Great ideas. If anybody wants to, take some notes, everybody in this group, our group is our asset. You want to get ideas from everybody else, right? Okay. So doing that first brainstorm in a slightly more official way is the one task for this course. Okay, that's it. We made templates for you to plan, and you can always find the hub in any part of the asynchronous module. This is what the hub looks like. I'm sure it's familiar to lots of you because you've been adding ideas to your templates already. We've seen them, right? No worries if you have not. Like Joey said, there's no requirement for when you get to do this. We're doing this in our own time in this course, right? But lots of you have already started. This is a visual of our whole course trajectory. We have been up to now in planning mode. So you've been thinking about a little quick activity, some ideas for digital practice in your own classes. And we're still in planning mode, okay? Today's meetup is giving us some important community synchronous planning time. And in the coming days, we mostly just want you to polish your plan, and trying your ideas with students is a great way to do that. Okay, so we do recommend, hopefully you'll have some ideas after today's meetup, maybe go try with students in the coming weeks. Then we will come back to share our experiences in the final meetup. But we're here now. Okay, we're here together now. So let's use the rest of this time. We're going to do an activity together. All right, so we brainstormed, but I'm actually going to play the teacher for a second, and y'all will play students. And then we will be sure to leave plenty of time for some small group discussions so that you can talk about what's going on in your own planning and practice so far, right? So without further ado, like I said, we wanted to share a quick sample activity. The idea with this is that we have an experience to go along with that idea. We started this hour with a couple ideas for that ELA activity. Now we're going to share an actual classroom experience for digital skills integration. So I want to prepare you guys because this is not ELA. This is an activity from a math lesson. I know. So feel your feelings right now. I know sometimes that gives people feelings that are strong. That's okay, right? We are here for that. And this math lesson is purposefully relevant to very current events. Everybody got your student hats on? Okay, here we go. Hello, students. We are starting this little activity. I want you to think through this question. If your paycheck goes up this year, are you better off than last year? Go ahead and write your initial thoughts in the chat. All right, first brave person in the chat. Great, thank you for your thoughts. Did your paycheck go up enough to cover the cost of living changes? That's a great question. I think Katie says no. Katie says nope. Cost of living has increased. And Ryan's kind of summing it up. She says that very special word depends. Depends on how much, and also brought up taxes. Bobby's also bringing up taxes. Did it barely put you in a higher tax bracket? So we're thinking about taxes. We're thinking about cost of living. And Valerie's thinking about your budgeting habits. So all really great thoughts that go along with Ryan's word depends. Yeah, Katie is also mentioning what Valerie's mentioned. Can you budget? So maybe I'm better off, but how am I budgeting that difference between this year and last year? Thanks, Rebecca, for also chiming in. Everybody chiming in. I appreciate everybody's input here. Please keep putting your thoughts in the chat. Rebecca says, yeah, overall inflation went down. So yeah, you must be better off. So if that's true, if inflation goes down, then yeah, probably, maybe. Cynthia says, okay, small amount. Oh, insurance. Nobody's brought up that. Health insurance, home insurance, auto insurance. Are we factoring those in? All right. Well, I really appreciate your initial thoughts on this. Let's look at some numbers because most of you said something along the lines of it depends. So let's go slightly deeper into this. Okay, feel your feelings. Numbers are on screen. Okay, so take a look at some numbers, and no calculating necessary. All I want you to put in the chat right now is what Rebecca just did. Just your observations. She's saying, ouch. I just want you to put, what do you notice? So what do you notice on the screen? What do you wonder? Do you have any questions? Do you have any observations? Put them in the chat. And again, thank you, Rebecca, for being the first person to respond to our new information on the screen. Thanks, Bobby, again, right? So Bobby has a question. How is the real change? So we've noticed there's a column that has a number labeled real change. Interesting. How is that figured? Great question. And Valerie is noticing it has a negative impact. So we're noticing a negative number. Interesting. What does that mean? Other observations, other questions. Thank you guys so much for adding anything and everything to the chat. It's a great group. I really appreciate y'all's participations. Good conversation so far for sure. Okay. Please feel free to keep adding anything you notice and wonder in the chat. But what we're going to do is keep going deeper. Okay. Let's go into a spreadsheet. Again, no calculating. Nobody's doing any calculations yet. Again, all I'm going to ask you to do is open the spreadsheet. What do you notice? And what do you wonder? And because you'll be in the spreadsheet, I'm going to put a QR code up, so feel free to use your phone, and then you can be on two devices. You can see us and the phone. Or if you do it on your laptop, maybe when you notice and wonder, you just take some notes on a piece of paper. All right, so let's get into the spreadsheet now. Joey's also going to put a link into the chat if you'd like to, if you prefer to go to the spreadsheet on your laptop. So feel free to get that QR code, hit it up on your phone, or click that link in the chat that Joey just put and open it up on your laptop. Either one is fine. Again, all I want you to do, what do you notice? What do you wonder? Take some notes. What do you notice and what do you wonder? Okay, hopefully everybody who needs that QR code's got it. I'm just going to put the spreadsheet up on the screen as well. This is what your screen should look like. You're noticing, you're wondering. Part of noticing and wondering is clicking around in this spreadsheet. So I have this on screen, but hopefully you have it on your own screen so you can click it, click cells and see what you see. Just noticing and wondering. Right, and wonderful. We also have some notes already that people are taking in the chat. We will talk about those in a minute or two. I want to give everybody some personal time to do their own noticing and wondering. Plenty of personal time for this. Just we're still definitely Having some personal time in this spreadsheet. Just there might be a few people who've just come in recently. We're doing a sample lesson with digital skills integrated. And what people are doing now is looking at this spreadsheet, clicking around in it, and just what do you notice? What do you wonder? I like to say anything goes. Pretend you're in elementary school. Just make your observations that simple, right? What do you notice? What do you wonder? Make your observations that simple. That sometimes really helps our understanding. One more minute, and then we'll start chatting about this. And that question, what do you wonder, is also very important. Any questions, anything goes. No stupid questions, no stupid observations.
I like it.
Nice. Thank you, Susan, coming off mute. I appreciate it. Any observations or questions, feel free to come off mute. Feel free to add to the chat. Lots of people already have. Okay, so I'm going to start discussing this. Thank you, those of you who added to the chat. I'm just going to start saying stuff out loud. Susan did express positivity about this spreadsheet. Some good learning going on in here. Good spreadsheet going on. Katie also likes it. Very informative, great way for students or really anybody to discover, right? So let's see. What was the very first thing? Oh, yes. The very first thing people were saying was, due to inflation, I am losing money. I think Valerie said that. Oh, this keeps now more people are adding to the chat. Very, very informative. Sandra says, "Oh, must need another job to add to the income." Yeah, that's a good observation. You might need another job. Good thought here. Rebecca said, "Inflation rates for each good is different." Right, great observation. So, row 1 here, that's the CPI average. That's generally, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, that's generally what people talk about when they talk about inflation,
When
CPI.
there are news reports, they're talking about CPI, the consumer price inflation.
Consumer price, isn't that index? No, consumer price
Oh,
index.
consumer price index, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, consumer price index, and that's like a basket of goods that they like to measure inflation with. That's at 31. But housing at 53, and somebody mentioned that. Somebody mentioned who said that? I'm showing my again my ability to look at this chat is sometimes messed up. But yes, so housing inflation, prices of housing going up at a different rate than the price of these consumer products, and then just the price of McDonald's goods is also different than the CPI, which is also different from housing. So that's something we missed. Nobody has anybody, some in a different group, I think I'm thinking of, mentioned, and tell me if you notice this, not give me a thumbs up. When you click on certain cells, you don't see the actual number, but you see some formulas. We did see this? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I don't know if you had some time to make some observations. There was a question, remind me who said it. Somebody, when we were observing in here, said, hey, how's that real salary change calculated? And then we get into the spreadsheet, you click on that real salary change, you can see a spreadsheet formula. If you take some time, and you definitely want to take the time, some personal time to really observe, okay, what cell is being added, what calculation is being done, and you can answer that question that you had when you first saw that number. Yep. Really interesting way for students to think about math calculations, especially ones that are extremely relevant to our world today. Right? Any other observations or questions that I missed in the chat? I don't think so. Again, I really appreciate you guys putting your student hats on. Okay, so just pat yourselves on the back and get, like, do a little stretch, shake it out. You thought about math for a second. Anybody who has some scary math feelings, we can pause now. Put your teacher hats back on. Wonderful. So you experienced a little bit of a digital skills integrated math lesson, very short. I know I would love to do that lesson with you all hour long, but I am going to pause here. Some of you might recognize a template that looks like this. This was the original activity. And so if you have an original activity like my original math lesson, we do want you to describe that in your template for this class. And my original activity guides students through some real life math reasoning and then some percent calculations. And I describe that here, just a short math activity. And then the modified activity not only adds spreadsheet skills, but we shift the focus from calculations to creating and interpreting equations. Right? They just clicked on that cell and they saw the equation and they're just interpreting. They're like, okay, what's happening? You're letting technology do the calculating. And let me tell you, these skills are not only more realistic to what students need in real life, but on the GED as well. There are more questions about setup of equations and expressions than there are about actually doing the calculations themselves. There are. And yeah, I see some nodding. Yeah, we know this. So how exactly the shift happens, like how you're going to modify this activity, and what exactly will change when adding digital skill practice, honestly, we can only guess until we put it into practice. So, the question of how to do this, should students notice and wonder about a spreadsheet with formulas already in place, like y'all just did? Or maybe you want to try something different. Should we have students add a row to the spreadsheet and calculate real salary increase based on a fourth inflation rate? Maybe both. Should students calculate the real salary before analyzing the spreadsheet at all? So these are all great questions, and you can put all your ideas right here in your planning doc and keep them there until you don't until you know they don't work, right? So have ideas here, try them out with students. If they don't work, take them out of the doc, right? This is where we're putting these ideas, and then hopefully we can try it out. Now, remember, this was a 5-minute sample. So in an hour class or a longer lesson, I would build on this, right? Have students research prices, use the spreadsheet a little more, maybe create graphs, things like this. Okay. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you all being my students today. I'm glad we do still have enough time in this hour for you guys to talk to each other. Okay, we're going to use a solid chunk of time right now in small groups because our group is our asset. You guys are the experts. You know your students. Talk through what works, what doesn't, and be inspired. All right. If you struggle in rooms, you can come back and share ideas as a whole group here. So what we're going to do in groups, very simple. Just talk to each other. Have you decided on a short activity that you're going to start with? And then do you have ideas for integrating digital skills into that activity? Remember, we want to testify to what we think is important. And then finally, maybe you want to talk about where students might struggle the most. I do want to emphasize that productive struggle is a good thing. We do want that. But you want to be prepared, right? You want to know, where is it going to happen? Where is that struggle happening? Okay, so without further ado, I think we're going to randomize some small groups here. Joey's giving me a thumbs up. They're ready to go. And we will post these questions in the groups as well. Right? As far as I know, I'll try to display in the groups or broadcast these discussion questions to the group. Thank you so much. I hope you have a very productive conversation. Remember, our group is our asset. This is what we're gathering here for.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again as we have about 10 minutes left on tonight's call. Very quick reactions in chat. Were breakout rooms too long, too short, just right? Help us kind of learn from the experience as we think about future meetups. How long is helpful to have to be able to talk to each other? Can use emojis or quick chat reactions. Too long, too short, just right. And with that, also curious if anyone wants to share highlights of the conversation from their group. What did y'all talk about? What activity ideas are you working on? What kind of ideas might you have for integrating digital skill practice? Where might students struggle? Curious if anyone wants to share in chat or come off mute to share any highlights. What did y'all talk about? What are you excited to try? What challenges are you anticipating? And yeah, anyone is, of course, welcome to come off mute and just talk to the group or reply via chat.
This is I'll go first. This is Valerie. I felt kind of stuck. I'm planning an activity using Quill.org. It's an interactive AI program that helps students with grammar, helps them with writing skills, etc., etc. And it gives them immediate feedback on their writing skills. So I wanted to incorporate that. And I was like stuck, like, am I on the right track? Is this going to work? I mean, it works in class. My students love it because it gives them immediate feedback with their grammar and writing skills. So it's something that I use and wanted to incorporate it, like different parts of it in this program. And I discuss it with my colleagues in the chat or the breakout room, and I got great feedback. So now I feel confident and I feel better about moving forward with what I want to do. And the time was just right. We had enough minutes. I know we lost one of our colleagues due to a storm in the area or whatever, but she got right back in just in time. So I appreciate this.
Awesome, Valerie. Thank you for sharing. Sounds like there are a lot of people that appreciate using Quill. I also really just liked one, trying AI, see how students engage with it, see how it goes, and two, just your reflection of like, I'm not sure how this is going to go, and that's okay. That's kind of the point of experimenting with new tools is to try something, see how students work with it and see how the experience goes, and then build off of it based on how lessons are learned. And so sometimes the lesson will go great, sometimes the activity will flop, and that's okay. That's kind of the nature of trying new things and learning about the experience. So thank you very much for that reflection, Valerie. Anyone else in chat or want to come off mute to just briefly recap what y'all talked about? Oh, and yeah, Miss Steptoe noticing the same thing. Using ChatGPT, curious to give it a try in the classroom as well. Students are using it, so why not, as a teacher, try to explore what that possibility might look like as well. Anyone else have highlights or reflections from their breakout room conversations?
In our breakout session, there was one person that said that AI is blocked in their district. So, are we going to find that to be a problem for lots of areas?
Yeah, great question, Sandra. I think that is the case in some schools, and I think the only option there is to try it in your classroom and see if you can access it. The nice thing is there's so many different tools now, and some of them that are built into software. So like Google Docs has it built in as an example. So I would imagine in classrooms where some tools are blocked, it's probably possible to find others that are accessible. But if not, I think that's also a good chance to try to open conversations with your administrators and with the IT department, talking about the importance of exploring these tools from an instructional perspective. So I think you're asking a good question. I'm not sure. It's school by school, and the best thing to do is probably just try and see how you go, see how it goes.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing highlights. Feel free to add any other comments in the chat. Just want to do some quick course housekeeping and share an AI idea that we've had as well. So, just as a reminder, this online module has a variety of resources. These resources are all designed to help you brainstorm and explore and consider new ideas. So we encourage you as you explore that online module just to kind of click around and check out ideas. But remember, we're also going to be giving each other feedback, which I'll talk about briefly in a moment. Those of you that might be sitting there kind of stuck, just like, hey, I'm not sure what this idea is going to be. I have an activity that I use, but I'm not sure how to blend digital skills. I would encourage you to try using something like ChatGPT as a brainstorming partner. So I did this exercise before tonight's call, went into ChatGPT and I said, here's an activity idea I have. And this is what we looked at the start of tonight's call. I want students to write a summary of a short article focusing on those key ideas and details. Can you brainstorm 10 ideas for me about how I could blend digital skill practice into this activity? And as you can see, it very quickly generated 10 ideas. I don't obviously have to use any or all of these, but it's a starting point for me to brainstorm. I also think the ideas it came up with are pretty strong. There are several things here that give me a starting point to try to blend these skills. And so the short answer of what I'm trying to say is if you're still sure not what you're not sure what you want to try in your classroom, try using a chatbot to brainstorm. I have this idea. Help me consider different ways to blend digital skills into this activity. And so maybe that's a chance for you to try using AI. but also to brainstorm a bit about some light touch starting points for how to integrate digital skill practice into your activity. So if you're curious, maybe just pop over to chat.com right now after today's call, open up your activity template and just start brainstorming some ideas and see which ones you like and see which ones resonate with you, and maybe use that as a starting point for brainstorming that activity. So, as we wrap up today's call, I want to remind everybody that everyone has an activity template. You can open up that activity template, and Kristen will show it on the next screen. So this gives you a chance to brainstorm, add notes into this Google Doc. And I'll emphasize here that you can see that a lot of peers in this class have started to add ideas, and you'll notice that some of them have marked them as ready to review. So we'd encourage you to not only work on your own activity, but jump into each other's templates and see what ideas your peers have. Add feedback, add questions, see if you draw some inspiration from what they're trying in their activities as well. So as far as some kind of next steps, there's kind of two things: brainstorm your activity, figure out how to blend digital skills into it, and then ideally try that activity in the classroom over the next weeks, remembering it might, have some hiccups, and that's okay. We want to learn from that experience, see how it goes, and then come together for our last meetup at the end of the month in April to talk about that experience, see what kind of lessons we learned, and then set some goals moving forward. So I'll pause here, see if there are any questions. You can add them to chat or come off the mute. I see Rebecca has a question here. PD certificate. So everyone in the course is eligible for up to 11 hours of PD credit. There's 15 hours counted or required annually for adult educators in Texas. You can get up to 11 for participation in this course. The way to get those activities, so those hours, either attending the meetups, these are an hour long, so you'll get an hour for each meetup you attend. And then the other 8 hours come from building an activity and trying it with your students. So if you get into the activities hub, edit your activity, revise it based off of feedback, we will then be able to review that, give you feedback, and then give 8 hours of PD credit for the others. So Rebecca, let me know in chat if that made sense or didn't. Cynthia, excuse me, the final meetup is going to be the week of April 14th. So it'll be on April 16th. So 3 weeks from now, same time, 4 to 5 on April 16th.
Joy, can I add on to what you said about the Rebecca's question?
Please.
To get the certificate that you're talking about, you will have to go into the PD portal and complete the tasks. And they're basically just like question tasks, like I've completed these mile markers in my course. So if you go into the PD portal, and I can share my screen quickly, if you allow me, or you may have to. If you go into the PD portal and search for DLCS cohort tasks, am I able to share? Here we go.
Yeah, Ryan, if you want to share screens and kind of walk people through the process, it's okay with us.
Okay.
I can also try to pull it up too.
There we go. Okay, so if you go into the PD portal and you type in DLCS innovations, and you'll see right here the 2 cohort tasks will pop up. When you click that one, but for the first thing it'll say in the blue is request. So you'll request that, and then you're able to open the curriculum. And all it's asking you to do is basically to tick off that you have completed those assignments. Once that is done, then we can confirm, yes, you have completed this particular assignment. And then that's when the PD portal is able to generate that certificate that you're looking for, which then can allow you to document that PD for the state. So still doing all the tasks the way that Joy has explained. This is just a way for us to be able to document it appropriately and present that certificate for you. Hope that makes sense.
Any other questions from the group that we can help answer before we call it a night? I want to be respectful of people's time, so if you need to jump off, that's okay. We'll, of course, continue to send out weekly emails to keep everybody in the loop and keep kind of working on your task and getting ready to try it in your classroom. And then we'll come back together in a few weeks to wrap up the course together. Thanks, everybody.